in the Birkas Shmueil on Talmud Torah, so the shaila is not a simple shaila. The shaila he asked is, can I instruct the Jews who are, according to their tradition from the time of Shimshon Hirsch, they are very cultured, intelligent, dedicated to every mitzvah, kahut asayra, to be very, very strict and careful in their observance of Torah. And of course, Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. They assign certain times of the day to learn Torah. They learn with all their koach, and they're gedolim. They're people who learn. But they were polished and cultured, and they learned other things as well, and they were professionals, and that was their medicine to the Haskalah. And he says at the very beginning of the article that Shimshon Hirsch was a Horat Shah. Why did he tell, even as a Horat Shah, why did he tell people to do what he told them to do? The answer is, the Birkas Shmuel reviewing what he said in that opening paragraph. He said that the temptations of the Haskalah are so great that if I refuse to give in 1 inch, what will be the result? They'll win. In other words, if I would tell a person, really maybe what I should tell them al pi Torah, is don't learn all that secular knowledge and become more cultured and part of the modern world by your having knowledge of all the things that that's what Haskalah culture was. You have to be a knowledgeable, intelligent, functioning, social person, not held back by all these old-fashioned religious ideas, and let's assume the temptation is very big. It has a lot of pull on a person, and so if I tell them no, don't do that, the result is that they lose their kids. Nobody succeeds to stay in learning. So in order to keep them in learning, so he thought of a takbula, a horat shah, to fight the Yetzer Hara. He said, you know what? You have to learn all that stuff. And you have to be polished in culture. But you can't deny that the Torah obligates us to learn Torah, to keep Shabbos, to do mitzvahs. So do all of the above. So is that a proper thing to do? Well, it was a successful tactic against the war of the Haskalah. And these people are coming after that. And the proof of the pudding is they were assigning times of the day to learn. They were very dedicated, very medactic on mitzvahs, yirei shamayim, fine people. So when I get to the end of paragraph Hey and the whole explanation of the Grua, that the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is a no minimum shiur, and it stretches bigger, because if a person has something they have to do, they have to make a living, they have to do some mitzvah nobody else can do, so they stop learning, and they go do it. So they fulfilled the mitzvah of Talmud Torah even with 1 word. And if they had time to learn a few hours before they went to work or whatever they had to do, even better. So I asked myself, well, according to that explanation, why was he telling the descendants of that outlook of Rav Shimshon Hirsch, why was he telling them this is not din Torah. This is not what you're supposed to do. It sounds like they were doing exactly what the Gra said to do. It is to say they learned Torah, as even all day long, if they didn't have to stop and do something else, they would learn Torah all the time. And they were set times to learn, and then they learned other things afterward. But they did not lose the mitzvah of learning Torah whatsoever. And they had the causes why to be mafsik and go out of learning when they went out. And they didn't leave learning and not learn. They learned. So then, according to everything we've learned, still, what is his answer to them? That that's not the derech of the Torah. In order to answer that question, that's why I think the article continues with Oz Vav. So I think the way I would put it, a few different things I would say to open the idea, is, let's say the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is shach b'chav kumecha, you start learning in the morning, you're learning, excited, happy, nice. And it comes time that a person has to be mafsik, and he has to stop. And then he stops, he does something else. Not something that's a waste of time, something he had to do. Now, what is his feeling about the things that he has to do, and what is his feeling about the time that he learned? As I say, you get schar for the drisha and schar for the prisha. It's the same thing. What's the difference? What's the difference? Is in terms of it's not doicha that without it being doicha, I have an Isur of Bidul Torah. There's not an Isur of Bidul Torah when a person has to stop. So what's the difference between A and B? So the answer he gives in the next part of the article is that there is a difference. There is a difference. There's something that causes me discomfort that I have to stop. I really would have not liked to have to stop. Where does that push come from? I'm talking not al pi musar, al pi alocha. Where is it that if only it would have been that I didn't have to stop? Where's that coming from? Where do I get that difference? So I want to explain it like this.
There's two ways.
What?
You explain there's two ways.
What do two ways mean?
Two ways of looking at what happens when you stop.
There's item number one and item number two. And I look at these two items. Mm-hmm. There's two ways of looking at the two items, not two ways of looking at the same item. The one item is that period of the morning when I was zoicha to learn Torah, and that period later on in the day when I had to do a mitzvah that no one else could do, and I was totally within my Torah instructions of to stop learning and go do that thing. That's I must do. And so I'm saying, but does a person look the same at this as he looks at that? They're two different things. But a person could say, that's why I use the phrase, you get schar for the drisha and schar for the prisha. I could look at the two things as identical. It's just this happens to be learning, this happens to be not learning. It's all things I have to do. I'm doing what the Torah told me to do.
Except Torah Keneged Kulam.
I know it's Keneged Kulam, but the mitzvah of Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam is every single moment and moment is another hefza of learning Torah. And not only that, but it's not a bunch of little pieces added together. It's a kamos davek of you start in the morning, and as long as you don't have a hafsaka, you have a chiyuv all day long, yom v'layla, to continue learning. So I'm talking about, and before the hafsaka happened, so you were learning Torah. Now, Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. But I don't say because of Keneged Kulam, therefore you didn't have a right to be mafsik. I didn't say that it's b'di'evet, that really you shouldn't be mafsik, but it's doicha the isur b'dul Torah when you mafsik. All that, we rejected that. So I say, well, you have a thing that you must do, and you're mafsik, and it's no loss of Torah because your mitzvah of Torah, you were makayim the mitzvah of Torah. So what's the difference? I look at this, I look at that,
Okay. following. I'm just wondering, isn't that a little bit true in any mitzvah? For
There's-
example, chesed. The person wants to do chesed.
The
So he
the-
can do chesed all
I
the
can
time.
bring a riot that you look at them the same way, although I think the Maskon of the Birkas Shmueil, you do not look at them the same way. I think that the Chazal tells us that don't make a cheshbon of what's a big mitzvah and what's a little mitzvah, because nobody knows the schar of a mitzvah, you know. And so a mitzvah is a mitzvah. You're a soldier. You're doing what Hashem commanded you to do.
A soldier, we're talking about.
So then why should I look at the two things differently?
Okay,
That's
good.
my kasha.
Excellent.
And I believe that in order to really give an answer to the people that followed the hora'ah of Rav Shimshon before the Hirsch, Goyen HaTzadik, for the people who followed that, in order to answer them, say, that's really not the law of the Torah, and it was a horat shah. It wasn't wrong to do, but it's not something you should do. How do I answer that? If I have this and I have that, and I'm supposed to be mafsik, I'm supposed to learn. That's exactly what they did do. They were kavati mit min Torah, and they have to mafsik. They mafsik. They didn't waste their time. They didn't give up learning when they didn't have to. So what's wrong with what they did?
So where does he say it's not the right thing to do?
In the opening paragraph, he said so. But according to how he explained the Gra, I'm asking a kasha that I don't see yet in the explanation of the Gra why he rejected their position.
And the Gra rejected their position.
I said the opposite.
No.
I think based on the Gra, I could follow their position.
So who said they rejected? Where was it that?
The Birkas Shmueil said, they asked me, should we do this derech or we should do the derech of the Derech HaKodesh of all the yeshivas always learned? And he answered them, you should do like all the yeshivas always learned, and although your father and your grandfather followed HaGaon Rabbi Mordecai for many years, but you don't have today the fight of the Haskalah, and you should be in the yeshiva learning like everyone does. Now, on what basis? And he didn't tell them, I'm giving you just my personal advice, and that's kind of my own. I'm a Litvach Rosh Yeshiva. What do you expect me to say? That's not how he talked.
That was the question. That's the question in the title.
You didn't see
I
that.
missed the beginning.
You didn't read it yourself.
I did. I tried.
You didn't see the name Shimshon for Hirsch.
Yeah, I did.
You don't know who he is.
Yeah.
You don't know who he is.
I know.
He's the father of Torah Malacha.
Okay.
He's the father of Torah with Derech Eretz.
Okay. I understand.
I didn't know you're not aware of that. That's the
Not to the
opening
extent,
move.
not to
Okay,
the
now.
extent.
So I would answer that the Ramchal says you have a pula, and a pula has a tachlis, and when you have a certain goal, why you do what you do, so the tachlis makes the pula that you do a different pula. This is to say, it's all from the Ramchal, that in Sefer Gayon, if you have two people doing the identical same thing, but it's not the same action, it might look the same, but if you would find out, like, what is the tachlis this person has in the action he's doing? And you take and for him, what's his tachlis? What does he want? What's he trying to get to? Where's his goal? And you'll find out that since their goals are radically different, although the action superficially looks the same, the two things are totally different. So I'm going to use that to explain how do you look at that period of time, which might be just one teva of learning, like say Kriyat Shema in the morning, and that's it. After that, you have other things to do, and you don't have a minute to learn another word the rest of the day. And then you have Kriyat Shema at night, and it's finished for the night. That's all the learning you got, day and night. So now but a person.
That's against the Birkas Shmueil.
What?
That's against what the Birkas Shmueil answered them.
What did he answer them?
He answered, no, they're Derech and Yeshiva to learn all day.
Not exactly. He answered them
All day and on the night. 3 Siddharim a day.
No, he didn't
No?
say that.
So what did he say?
He didn't say that. He said that you have to learn in order to. You missed the beginning, I think, because I'm repeating myself. You're not aware of what I said at the very beginning. These are all the opening foundations. The Birkas Shmueil opened his article by telling us that a person must train his children to be Gedolei Torah and Gaonei Torah and nothing else. And anybody who thinks that they're going to train their child to be a Yirat Shamayim will fail. And their children or their grandchildren will become Mumarim and Reform Jews.
I read that.
So then focus your mind then, because this is what we're talking about. So that's called Tachlis. What is your goal? What is your goal? If your goal is to be a Goyen and a Gadol b'Torah, and that's your goal, it's going to change the learning you're doing. And if your goal is to be a Yirat Shamayim, it's also a goal. But what you're going to end up to do is going to change the action that you do. So now I see 2 people. One of them is he looks like these Jews from Slobodka and Hebron that the Yerushalmis couldn't take them, and they were clean shaven with short jackets, and they came from Slobodka, and the Saba told them, you have to have kavod adam. So they were clean shaven, and they had nice hats. They weren't schlumpy, and they looked nice. And they got to Yerushalayim, and the Turi Karta people couldn't take them, and they ran away to Hebron. Why is Hebron Yeshiva in Hebron until Tarpat? Because they couldn't take them in Yerushalayim.
Really?
I'm telling you the truth.
I didn't know that.
So now, you have this German Talmud Chacham, very makbid on his times, and he's kovea itim l'Torah. Now he doesn't look much different than these guys from Hebron, and then you have these guys that are that's why I picked Hebron, because you could almost mistake one for they were clean and neat, how they were makbid on their appearance. It's one of the tikkunim that the Saba of Kelem, the Saba of Slobodka put on them. So now that's why I picked them for an example. So I have 2 people. They're both clean shaven, nice looking, mesudar, and they sitting and learning, and they learn all their koach through the whole morning, right?
Yeah.
Now the movie stops, and then you have what happened after that. Well, these guys are yeshiva boys. They finish the morning seder, they eat lunch, and they're yelling and screaming and learning, and they come back to learn. What's the problem? And the other one, it's time to go to work now, and he closes his book and he goes to work. He's mesudar, and he does what he has to do. So now I asked the question about tachlis. That learning that they did, according to the Gra, which is you get up in the morning and you have a mitzvah to learn Torah. For as long as you don't have anything that pushes off, you can go all day long learning Torah. So now I have 2 people doing the same exact action, but not for the same purpose. One has the purpose of to be a goyen and a gadol b'Torah. And one has the purpose to be a Yirat Shamayim and to be medaktik all the mitzvahs that Hashem commanded us. And I picked 2 people that their dress is very similar, and you look at them on the surface, you wouldn't see that much difference what they're doing. Now, but obviously, one pool is not the same as the other. That's what the Ramchal taught us, and that's how we're going to understand in the Gemara now. That I want to take these 2 dinim of the Birkas Shmueil, there's the din of morning and night, shach b'chav kumecha, and there's the din of higisamo yomam v'laylo, which makes it stretch out to more time. There's no conflict because we explained already till now, according to the Gra, that really the mitzvah of Talmud Torah has no minimum shiur, and there's such a thing as hafsaka. But how do you feel when you have to stop? That depends on your tachlis. So now I'm going to read the Gemara in Menachos. So I printed from the beginning of the Gemara. I didn't print the Mishnah. So I have to tell you the Mishnah. In the Mishnah, Tzadik Tesam Beis in Menachos, I didn't print it, so I'm just telling you outside. You have, in the Beis of Mikdash, you have the Shulchan. On the Shulchan you have the Lechem Aponim. And the Lechem Aponim is 2 stacks of breads with all these contraptions that hold up the bread. It's very beautiful, made out of gold. And the pasuk in the Torah says, Lifonai Tamid. The bread of the Lechem Aponim is meant to be on the Shulchan in the Heichal of the Beis HaMikdash all the time. So now here's the machlokes in the Mishnah. All the time means that according to the Tanakama, that you have 4 Kohanim walking in from the bakery shop with the new lechem aponim on Shabbos morning, and they each one of them is carrying a stack of 6 breads, and the other group is 4 more carrying another stack of 6 breads, and then you have another bunch of Kohanim to take off the other stack of 6 breads, and another bunch of Kohanim take off the other pack of 6 breads. And now they all those Kohanim work together. This one moves the bread from last week out a tefach, and at the same time that it starts to move a tefach, the other ones take the other bread and they put it in a tefach. And then the other one moves out a tefach, and this goes in a tefach. So basically, as this one moves out, this one moves in. When you finish, and when you finish the job, I can say I was mekayim the pasuk that the shulchan of the heichal had lechem aponim tamid, lifanai tamid. That's the Tanakam. Rabbi Yossi says, you don't need all that. The word tamid, that you don't have to go that far. Tamid means that it didn't go overnight without the lechem aponim. So it's to say, the lechem aponim that was there, you take it off the shulchan, you get it out ready for where the Kohanim are going to, you makriv the bezikin to the mizbeach, and it's mati the lechem aponim, and now it's ready for their Suda Shabbos, and they eat the lechem aponim, the Kohanim that are in the Beis HaMikdash. What about the new lechem aponim? You have to make sure sometime later in the day that they come in and put the new lechem aponim. Is going to sit there from now until next Shabbos. So you cannot go overnight without lechem aponim on the shul.
Overnight.
That's called tamid. Machlokes tanoim. What does it mean, lefanai tamid? Means every second doesn't budge, or it means, no, you take this off and you put this on. That's called tamid. Now read you the Gemara. It's a very interesting Gemara. Tanya, Rabbi Yossi Omer, Afilu silek es hayashona shachris, Sider es achadosha arvis, ein bekach klum. You can take off the old in the morning and put the new in the night, no problem. Elo, mani makayim lifonai tamid, shel yolen hashulchan below lechem. Simple, that's what I just explained to you. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, and that's also in the Mishnah, is also in this brisa. The brisa explains the Mishnah the way I explained it to you. Omer Rab Ami, midavar shel Rabbi Yossi nilmod, afilu lo shona adam ela perak echad shachris, perak echad arvis, Kiem mitzvah lo yamush sefer Torah mipich.
Whoa.
Oh, what a
Wait
dimyon.
second.
Wow. That means that according to Rabbi Yossi, that you don't have to worry about the bread being there every second.
Right.
You can have it in the morning, you have it in the night.
Right.
That's called tamid.
Right.
So he said, well, that's the same thing as Talmud Torah. Talmud Torah sounds like the Quran. You have a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the night. It says Shaf b'chav kumecha, and I don't mind if it stretches out, but if there's a hafsakah, there's something you have to do. There'll be a hafsakah. What happened to tamid? So we said that having with the hafsakah in the middle, but having that you learn Torah in the morning and the night is called tamid. That's called tamid. That's called learning Torah all the time.
But there has to be a connection between the two.
There was no connection with the lechem hapanim. The shulchan was empty. You took it off and you put it on later. I'm talking about Rabbi Yossi. There's a machlokes Rabbi Yossi and the Tanakh.
Okay. Just 1 second.
So if I apply Rabbi Yossi to Talmud Torah, then I would say that same thing. Even though it's a hafsakah, that a person stopped learning. So what? That's called lo yamush. That's called learning Torah all the time. There's no stira between all the time and having a hafsakah, because the hafsakah wasn't for a week of bein hazmanim.
Yeah.
New bein hazmanim is coming. Everyone has to make sure they have some learning happening. Okay, so this is the Rav Ami.
Okay.
But he has a bar plukta. Rav Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Afilu lo kora adam, ela kriyat shma shachus arvis kiem lo yamush. V'davar zeh also laomro lifnei amaretz. Now, what's the machlokes?
What did he just say?
Rabbi Shimon said that
It's
on a
true.
certain level, Rav Ami is right.
Yeah.
But don't say it to an Amaretz.
Don't tell him how.
Now, could you explain that, Melitza? What does he mean by that? You're from Maron. Tell me what Rabbi Shimon means.
בעברית או
גם בעברית, אפשר.
זה-
הוא אמר, נכון,
כן.
שחוס ערביס,
כן.
אבל אסור לאומרו. למה?
שלא יקלו, כאילו.
מה?
שלא יהיה זה קל ביניהם כזה.
So really, if I read in between the line, what he really means is that we're not so happy
כן.
that there's that hafsakah, and he was Mekayim his Torah with the morning and the night. We're not so happy about that,
This is the Gemara.
right?
This is the Gemara, right?
Rava Amar, what are you talking about? Asur lomro la'amaretz. Mitzvah lomro la'amaretz. That's basically the whole Gemara. After this, we have a new topic about Chochma Yavanis. I'm not going to. I looked at that a little bit. I'm going to come back to it later in the Birkas Shmueil. What do we make of this machlokes of the Amoraim? And what about the Tanakama in the Mishnah?
And who brought this?
Who brought this Gemara?
Yes.
Birkas Shmuel.
Birkas
But it's a famous Gemara. I don't need the Birkas Shmuel to tell me this Gemara. You don't know about this Gemara of Lo Yamush Toras Mipicha?
Yeah,
Hizarecha?
I heard that.
Of course we know this Gemara. Now, Lichora, I don't see anybody who disagrees with Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi is the one who said that the lechem hapanim doesn't have to be all the time on the shulchan, not like the Tanakh. and I didn't look up in the Rambam what's the halacha about the lechem aponim, if the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi or like the Tanakama, but I'm not so concerned about the lechem aponim, even if the lechem aponim is not like him, but he made a dimyon to Talmud Torah, and nobody said in this Gemara that it's Eino Dome. So,
No one said in the Gemara, name of Darchei.
right? So I think that when it comes to Talmud Torah,
הפוך he said it.
what?
הם מחזקים אותו, רבי שמעון וזה.
לא, אבל כשהוא אומר, אל תגיד ככה, לעם הארץ, אז זה לא שזה לא נכון. זה כן נכון, אבל אל תגיד, זה משהו אחר. Okay, so now I have another Gemara. I also printed it for you somewhere. Where is it? Look on page 3. The Gemara in Brachot. All these are Marmakomos from the Birkas Shmueil. But I just want to get the Gemara into our head in order to be able to handle the Birkas Shmueil properly.
Beautiful.
So now, page 3. Brachos, Daf, Lamed Hamid Beis. Rabbi Chanina, Bar Papa, Rami. I have 2 psukim. Don't go together. Lokachti, Digani, Bito, Vikosiv, Osafti Gonecho. Make up your mind. The food comes because you work hard and you grew it, or it comes from Hashem.
That's what they're asking here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lo kasha. Kan bisman Yisrael osim ritzono shel makom. If Yisrael does ritzono shel makom, Hashem provides everything.
Talui.
Kan bisman she'ein Yisrael osim ritzono shel makom, then you have to have asafta gonecho. Tan rabbanon. Asafta gonecho matom elomar lefi shenemar lo yamush sefer Torah ze mipicha. Yochol devarim kiksofa. Talmud lomar aftos teganecho. Haneg bohem minag derech eretz divrei Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel made the following drasha. He said that that really you can't have lo yamush sefer Torah ze mipicha and also asafta gonecha. What are you going to do? Well, it doesn't go together. So he answered that well, is that if you have to be mafsik and stop learning and go and osef de gonecha, you go do it. It's derech eretz. That's the opinion of Rabbi Shmuel. What's the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? He said, Afsher Adam Choresh b'shas charisha, v'zoreh b'shas zriya, v'kotze b'shas ketzira, v'dash b'shas disha, v'zor b'shas ruach, Torah, mati ele. There's never going to be Torah. If I tell you, asafti gonecha, derech eretz, no room left for learning Torah. So how do I solve the problem? Elo. Bisman, Yisrael osim ritzono shel makom, melachtu nasis ayid acher. Shneimar, amdu zarim v'rod sonecha. Bisman she'ein osim ritzono shel makom, melachtu nasis atzman. It's a curse. Shneimar, afsot ganecha. You're in bad shape. You're going to have to work. V'lo el shemeleches acherim nasin al yadam shneimar v'avates oivecha. So Rabbi Shimon held that really the position is forget about asafta gonecha. If you learn Torah and you do the Ratzon Hashem, Hashem will take care of you. And asafta gonecha is for the people that fail and don't want to do the Ratzon Hashem. They don't want to learn Torah, so go ahead, go to work.
You just said that here?
Yeah. Now, there's a joke that I heard from the Rebbe that Hashem told Adam Arishon, Bezea Sapecha Tochal Lechem. So the joke is that
Translate that for me.
what?
Translate
That
for me.
pasuk means that with the sweat of your face you'll eat your bread.
Yeah.
Means you have to work hard, basically.
right.
So the joke is that, well, that's if you like nice fancy white bread with creamy butter on it. But you want some grass and whole wheat stuff, so then you're not going to have to work so hard. Depends what you want. So
That's a joke.
that's a joke. But the Rebbe Zatzal told me that joke. I think he had a midrash that he learned it. I don't think it's without a chazar. Okay, Omer Abayim. You know, I have a very big machlekes here, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shmuel says derech eretz, and Rabbi Shimon says asafta ganecha is a curse. So Abaye said a lot of people did like Rabbi Shmuel, also biyada, and it worked. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, also they tried to do like Rabbi Shimon, it didn't work. You know, Rabbi Shimon, you don't know the story about the cave? He was in the cave for a while. You know, you have to keep in mind who we're talking about. Okay, now, Amalei Abai, Rava to Abai. Rava said to Abai. No, I'm sorry. He did not say to Abai. It's a new comment. Amar Rava l'Rabbanan. Although Abaya said that for those people that do like Rabbi Shimon, it didn't always work. The ones who do like Rabbi Shmuel, more of them were successful. But Rava said to the Rabbanan, "B'mitusa minaychu, b'mitusa minaychu, b'mei Nisan, b'mei Tishrei." At least at the height of the dealing with the land and the height of the harvest, Nisan and Tishrei, at least those times. Al tischazu kamei, don't come to the yeshiva. Ki heichi delo titradu b'mizunosaychu kuli shata. You need to at least take a little time to take care of your stuff, that otherwise you're going to be a bittul Torah from needing food all the whole year long. So don't come at those peak times when you must get your work done. So now why did he tell them b'mitusa minaychu? I'm requesting, I'm asking him, not telling him. He didn't tell him, listen, do like Rabbi Shmuel. He didn't tell him that. He didn't tell him that. He said, I'm begging you, please, don't come those times. Better off. You'll be Torah all year if you neglect your stuff in Nisan and Tishrei. I don't want that, but please. So now I'm going to try to put these militzas together and explain, what is the position of the hefsek when a person stops learning, and what is the position when he is learning. Do you say like Reb Yossi that there's no problem with the hefsek because that's called learning Torah all the time. You learn Torah in the morning and the night. That's called learning Torah all the time. You hold like that? So apparently, definitely, I could say that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai doesn't hold like that. And that's why he says here, Torah my te'alet. He doesn't hold like that. He holds you gotta learn all the time. So now I'm ready to read the Birkas Shmueil, I think. The Gemaras, there's definitely what to think about, how to come to a conclusion based on these Gemaras. There's plenty of things that the Gemara says that a person could easily form a wrong picture from it. You have to really think about what is the conclusion of these Gemaras. That's why I need the Birkas Shmuel's analysis. Okay. So now let me go. Let me go over here. I'm going to start Ozbav. He says like this. The Birkas Shmuel writes, הנה אם הלוכי, מה?
אבא זה המורה, נכון? הרב הוא המורה.
מי?
אבא זה המורה.
כן, גם הבעיה.
אז הוא אמר את זה שהם כבר היו בגלות, שהם כבר...
כן, גם. והנה, אם ההלכה היא כסוג מנחוס, וקורא קריאת שמע שחר ארביס קיים לא ימוש, יש בזה שתי שיטות. Is the halacha like Reb Yossi? We saw in the Gemara Menachos, according to Reb Yossi, if a person learned Torah at least minimum of in the morning and the night, he's mekayim lo yamush Torah zemipicha. Reb Yossi. Is the halacha like Reb Yossi? Maybe the halacha is like the Rabbanan, that no, there can't be any break of the lechem aponim on the shulchan. So, what are the two views in the Rishonim? He says there are two shitas. One shita, das haran. Eino ali b'del chason. No. Dois asugya, koi dafkul Rabbi Yossi. Vain in the words of the Goyen in Reish Mevav, Sivkot Zayin. And if what the Gemara says here is only according to Reb Yossi, so Mistama, the halacha is like the Chachamim. No, you could. We already explained why a person can stop learning, but you can't tell me that when you stop learning that you have that the Torah doesn't leave you for a second. It does. Does that mean you can't stop? No, I didn't say you can't stop. As we explained already. But I think it's this was I introduced the whole question here today of how do you look at the stopping and how do you look at the learning? So if the tachlis is to become a goyen and a gadol b'Torah, the excitement of learning is for that goal, then there's no question about it that the person is not going to fight with the reality. If it's a hafsaka, it's a hafsaka. He has to stop. It's mitzvah yishav yidacher. But how will he feel about it? He won't feel the same as when he was learning. He's not getting his goal in the same way, so he hopes that it won't last too long, that he has to be out and come quickly back. Changes how he looks at it. Mm-hmm. So when I say the halacha is not like Reb Yossi, it doesn't mean that the halacha is there's no such thing as a mitzvah yisharei acher and a hafsaka, but it changes how you look at it. That's what I want to basically say in the Ran. Now there's the shita of the Ritva. Shitas Aridva, the halacha goes so sukya. The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi. Ulam. Dafka lemish dochuk tefei beparnasason. Aval lemish enu dochuk, enu yotzei achiyuv digisamo yomam balaylo. Vaim baridva in the Darim. This is where he explains it is in the Darim. So in other words, one view is the halacha is not like Rabbi Yossi. The other view is the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, but only for a person who's under tremendous pressure of parnasa. He's not under tremendous pressure, so then he's going to be missing
Learning.
missing learning if he stops.
Right.
He didn't. It's not that. So till
He's
now,
potter, but he's missing the learning. Can you say
I
that?
don't. He's potter. See, it's not.
But he's still.
Well, you see, we have the problem of dechia and patur and the mitzvah is the mitzvah that when you learn until you stop that you are mekayim the mitzvah already, and therefore there's a hefsek to stop. But we didn't have anything until now to really ask this question. Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu, like I just got a new job and I have to work an extra hour or two. I might not need that much money, but it's a more enjoyable job, and the only thing is I have to leave a little bit earlier from the base midrash. You know? So now, am I allowed to do it? Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu. So the Ritva will really say no. What?
Rebbe never let me.
That's right. You're right. He goes like the Ritva.
How many times?
I think the Rebbe was more than that. It was could see right away, not like the Rebbe, like the Rambam. We're going to learn another Rishon, but how the Rebbe held very clearly. The Birkas Shmueil himself says the halacha is like the Rambam.